In a bold move that underscores growing frustration with the entrenched two-party system, tech mogul Elon Musk has reignited discussions around forming a new political entity tentatively dubbed the America Party. His latest pronouncements, emerging on Friday, July 4, 2025 from a flurry of social media activities, signal a significant escalation in his long-standing critique of government spending and political gridlock, particularly following the contentious passage of President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill through the U.S. House of Representatives. Musk's renewed foray into the political arena appears to be directly triggered by the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a signature policy of the Trump administration which he estimates would add a staggering $3.3 trillion to the national deficit over the next decade. Having previously spearheaded cost-cutting measures within the Department of Government Efficiency, Musk's opposition to such fiscal expansion is consistent with his public persona. He had previously threatened that if this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day, a promise he now seems poised to fulfill as the bill heads to President Trump's desk. The strategy outlined by Musk for his proposed third party is notably pragmatic, eschewing a broad immediate presidential bid in favor of targeted influence. In a tweet to his ex-followers where he polled interest in independence from the two-party, some would say uni-party system, he elaborated on a plan to laser focus on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. His rationale is clear: under slim Republican margins, a small block of America Party representatives could wield disproportionate power, serving as the deciding vote on contentious laws, ensuring that they serve the true will of the people. This approach suggests a calculated effort to disrupt the legislative process and force compromise rather than a full-frontal assault on the existing political establishment. Musk is not alone among Silicon Valley's elite in expressing such profound political dissatisfaction. Business Insider noted that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman shares a similar disillusionment with the current political landscape, hinting at a broader sentiment among tech leaders who often advocate for efficiency and innovation in areas traditionally resistant to change. This convergence of views among influential figures could signal a nascent trend of tech-driven political activism. However, Musk's political ambitions are not without their challenges or indeed controversies. His outspoken criticism of the One Big Beautiful Bill has escalated into a public feud with President Trump, who has responded with veiled threats, including suggestions of revoking government subsidies for Musk's companies and even looking into deporting him. This acrimonious exchange underscores the high stakes of a tech titan engaging directly with established political power. Furthermore, public opinion polls such as those aggregated by statistician Nate Silver's Silver Bulletin indicate a significant hurdle. 55% of Americans hold an unfavorable view of Musk compared to 37% with a positive opinion. This data suggests that while his ideas may resonate with a segment of the population, his personal brand carries considerable baggage that could complicate any widespread political appeal. As the One Big Beautiful Bill moves through the final stages of legislation, the viability of Musk's America Party remains a critical question. While the frustration with America's two-party system is palpable among many voters, the historical challenges of establishing and sustaining a third party are immense. The coming months will reveal whether Musk's considerable influence and financial resources can translate into genuine political power, or if his latest venture will join a long list of ambitious but ultimately unfulfilled third-party movements in American history. Regardless of its immediate success, his very public dissent signals a growing desire among powerful non-traditional actors to directly shape the nation's political trajectory. The reverberations of sweeping federal government restructuring spearheaded by the controversial Department of Government Efficiency DOGE under the initial influence of tech titan Elon Musk are now beginning to cascade into the everyday lives of Americans, transforming everything from national security to the simple experience of visiting a park. What began as a chaotic, almost farcical period of mass layoffs and job justification demands in the early months of the second Trump administration is now revealing its profound and often insidious impact, a slow-burning consequence that, as Slate executive editor Susan Matthews observed on July 4, 2025, often moves slower than the news cycle itself. Indeed, the initial phase saw federal workers grappling with bewildering directives from the Musk-run DOGE, including requests for detailed justifications to retain their positions. While the immediate human cost of job losses was evident, the true ramifications of these cuts, described by Matthews as part of a deliberate strategy to flood the zone with shit, are only now becoming fully legible. Despite President Trump's very public split with Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency continues its mandate, albeit with a new leadership structure and a renewed focus on hiring for key roles including software engineering, HRIT, and finance. As reported by AOL.com on January 7, 2025. This ongoing recruitment for a very small number of salaried positions following earlier claims of unpaid roles suggests DOGE is evolving beyond its initial purely advisory form, even as its fundamental aim remains to slash the federal budget by trillions in pareback regulations. The most immediate and concerning impacts are emerging in critical sectors. Brent Giannotta, a former CIA counterterrorism analyst, paints a chilling picture of a national security apparatus undermined. He describes a previous culture where analysts worked tirelessly often off the clock to fuse intelligence and prevent attacks, a structure designed for collaborative threat assessment. Now, with officers dismissed by the hundreds and security priorities dictated by one leader's personal whims, Giannotta warns of potential catastrophes. Autopsies of intelligence failures repeatedly suggest that had we had more officers working collaboratively and reporting to receptive administrations before September 11 and Pearl Harbor, we could have prevented catastrophe, he stated, highlighting the stark contrast with the current environment where worry over what might slip through keeps him awake at night. Beyond national security, the cuts are crippling essential public services. An anonymous source from the Department of Education's Civil Rights Division revealed a complete stop to processing thousands of complaints, exacerbating an already significant backlog that once aimed for a 180-day completion timeline. Similarly, Frank Xu, a former financial analyst with the Office of Public and Indian Housing, recounted being terminated mid-investigation into an alleged fraud case, underscoring the immediate cessation of critical oversight functions. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau (CFPB) is also feeling the pinch. A former financial analyst noted that consumers won't realize the loss until their household balance sheet goes awry, lamenting the absence of enforcement mechanisms, quality auditing, and consumer advocacy, particularly for student loan recipients. The dismantling extends to America's ability to respond to crises. Kelly McKinney, former deputy commissioner at the New York City Office of Emergency Management and a former member of FEMA's National Advisory Council, issued a dire warning about the elimination of the Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA following Executive Order 14239. This order, signed by President Trump in March, shifts disaster response entirely to states based on the discredited notion that all disasters are local. McKinney cautioned that real catastrophes don't stop at state lines and will inevitably overwhelm local systems, leaving Americans dangerously exposed to a future where no one will be there to help them in the wake of a major disaster. The repercussions are also economic and environmental. Mary Marshall, a solar energy professional, expressed deep concern over the big beautiful bill passed by the Senate and awaiting House approval, which guts financial incentives that make solar projects buildable. She described the solar industry as being on a solar coaster of policy-driven peaks and valleys, but this time the ride might be ending. Without these incentives, the industry faces collapse, leading to increased reliance on fossil fuels, rising energy costs for consumers, and a lack of investment in upgrading aging grid infrastructure, increasing the risk of widespread blackouts. The global and generational implications for the planet, she noted, are dire. Even seemingly minor yet culturally significant aspects of American life are affected. Mitch Flanagan, a former National Park Service employee, shared the story of Denali National Park's sled dogs, the only federal kennel of its kind. Tasked with backcountry patrols, assisting scientists and maintaining routes in the vast wilderness, the dog teams are vital for winter operations. Flanagan, responsible for 31 dogs, was fired just 3 months into his permanent position, leaving the already stretched team even thinner. While the winter utility of the dogs is clear, the cuts will be most keenly felt by the public this summer when Denali receives most of its visitors. The iconic dog demonstrations, a major draw requiring 4 staff members, may be reduced to a presentation without the dogs, a small thing Flanagan admits, but a huge disappointment for visitors who travel far to experience them. The ripple effect also impacts accessibility and international standing. Patty Smith, a former civil rights specialist at the Federal Transit Administration (FTA), highlighted the FTA's crucial role as a watchdog ensuring transit agencies comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. She acted as a direct contact, translating complex regulations and resolving complaints, from ensuring wheelchair lifts are deployed to providing paratransit options. Without federal oversight, the burden of legal action and expensive consultations falls directly on individuals with disabilities. On the global stage, David Pachevsky, a consultant for USAID-funded democracy and governance programs, lamented the withdrawal of life-saving aid and the long-term damage to America's standing as a beacon of hope and progress. He recounted a deeply moving story of a Somali politician who found hope in the fairness of the U.S. justice system, a hope that democracy promotion efforts, however imperfect, aimed to foster abroad. In their absence, he argues, humanitarian crises deepen and the United States' influence as a model for democratic aspirations diminishes. Amidst these unfolding consequences, the political landscape continues to shift. Following his departure from DOGE in May, Elon Musk publicly criticized the administration's Big Beautiful Bill, arguing it would increase the national debt. This drew a sharp retort from White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy Stephen Miller, who dismissed Musk as an outside voice and defended the bill as delivering tax benefits and combating cheaters and scam artists. In response, Musk has intensified his call for a new political entity, the America Party, proposing it as a third force to represent the 80% in the middle and serve as a decisive vote in a razor-thin legislative environment. On July 4, 2025, he posted a poll on X asking, Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from the two-party, some would say uni-party system. Should we create the America Party? As the nation navigates these profound changes, the future remains uncertain. The cuts implemented under the guise of efficiency are now demonstrably impacting the very fabric of American life. From its safety and security to its public services and international reputation. The ongoing evolution of DOGE, the shifting political alliances, and the emergence of new political movements suggest that the roller coaster is far from over. The coming months will undoubtedly reveal more about the long-term resilience of federal institutions and the capacity of states to absorb responsibilities previously shouldered by the national government, all while the American public increasingly feels the direct personal consequences of a dramatically reshaped public sector. Tesla, a company long synonymous with innovation and market disruption, finds itself navigating a complex and often contradictory landscape. As July 2025 unfolds, the electric vehicle giant faces an anticipated dip in its Q2 deliveries, a stark reminder of persistent sales challenges. Even as the speculative fervor around its ambitious robotaxi program continues to fuel its near-trillion-dollar market valuation. This paradoxical situation underscores a pivotal moment for the automaker, where present-day struggles in its core business collide with a future vision yet to fully materialize. The company's recent performance paints a challenging picture, with sales plunging 13% last quarter compared to the previous year, signaling what could be a second consecutive year of falling sales. This downturn is attributed by some to a combination of consumer backlash potentially linked to controversial statements from CEO Elon Musk and an aging electric vehicle lineup struggling to maintain its edge in an increasingly competitive market. Adding to these woes, the highly anticipated Cybertruck has reportedly been a flop, further contributing to the company's sales difficulties and failing to provide the much-needed boost some had hoped for. Yet, despite these headwinds, Tesla remains the world's most valuable automaker by market capitalization, currently hovering around $990 billion. A significant portion of this market confidence appears to be anchored to the long-awaited launch of its autonomous vehicle service in Austin, Texas, which finally began allowing paying passengers on June 22. On the surface, the initial rollout has been remarkably smooth, with no public reports of crashes or fender benders involving the robotaxi. Early riders, largely composed of Tesla influencers and online content creators, have lauded the service, which is currently priced at an intriguing $4.20 per ride. However, a closer look reveals numerous caveats that temper the initial optimism. The service is not yet open to the general public, accessible only to a select group of early riders who often have a vested interest in the company's success. Furthermore, Tesla, which famously disbanded its PR team in October 2020, has remained tight-lipped regarding details of the program, declining to respond to inquiries about its expansion plans or operational specifics. The operational area in Austin is also notably smaller than that of rivals like Waymo, an Alphabet subsidiary that launched its robotaxi service in the city via the Uber app back in March. Crucially, the driverless service is far from unsupervised. Tesla's robotaxis include a safety monitor in the front passenger seat poised to intervene, and the company has been less than transparent about its use of human teleoperators who can remotely drive or assist the vehicles. Missy Cummings, an autonomous vehicles researcher at George Mason University, critically observes what she calls the trifecta of babysitting currently employed by Tesla. While she praises the automaker for prioritizing safety through human intervention, a common practice for competitors like Waymo and Zoox in their early testing phases, Cummings views this as evidence of significant immaturity in Tesla's self-driving operations. If learning to deploy a self-driving car system was grades K through 12, Tesla is in first grade, she asserts, directly contradicting Elon Musk's January promise of unsupervised full self-driving as a paid service in Austin in June. No one in the car. Bryant Walker-Smith, a law professor studying autonomous vehicles, echoes this sentiment, likening Tesla's current efforts to splashing around in the kiddie pool rather than competing in the Olympic swim competition. Videos from early riders have also highlighted some rough edges in the technology. Incidents captured include a robotaxi crossing a double yellow line into oncoming traffic during a left turn, failing to detect a reversing UPS truck and exhibiting phantom braking, suddenly stopping for no apparent reason, a phenomenon also reported by hundreds of users of Tesla's less advanced full self-driving supervised feature, which is currently under federal investigation. The service also pauses for bad weather, with one user's ride being halted by a rainstorm forcing a drop-off in a park. While experts like Carnegie Mellon's Philip Koopman note that such slip-ups are not unlike human driving errors, they underscore a critical point: autonomy's primary value proposition is enhanced safety, and these incidents, even minor ones, understandably cause public apprehension. These operational challenges reignite the long-standing debate surrounding Tesla's camera-only approach to autonomous driving. Unlike many competitors that integrate more expensive sensors like radar and LiDAR for redundancy and validation, Musk and his company have steadfastly argued that AI powered by camera data is sufficient. While advancements in large language models have swayed some industry figures like former Cruise CEO Kyle Voigt towards the efficacy of camera-based systems, critics like Missy Cummings remain unconvinced. There is no robotics system that exists that is safety critical, meaning people can die using it, that has ever been successful on a single sensor strain, Cummings states, questioning Tesla's unique conviction. Despite Musk's ambitious pledge in May to have hundreds of thousands, and perhaps up to 1 million, autonomous vehicles on the road next year, and the company actively hiring vehicle operators to collect data, his history of unmet deadlines casts a shadow over these bold projections. Amidst these significant technological and market challenges, Tesla continues to refine its existing ecosystem with practical user-centric improvements. A thoughtful and much-needed update to the in-vehicle supercharger UI is currently rolling out. This enhancement will provide drivers with crucial details about supercharger locations and access requirements through new icons and contextual messages. This includes information on valet-only parking, pay-to-park fees, access codes, and even the specific parking floor where a charger is located. These seemingly minor tweaks are a direct response to long-standing frustrations, eliminating surprises like hidden parking fees or desperate searches for chargers in multi-level garages. These quality-of-life improvements are vital as the supercharger network continues its massive expansion into more complex and densely populated urban centers, making the charging experience more seamless and predictable. While a specific release date hasn't been announced, these features are expected in an upcoming major software update and likely to be integrated into the Tesla app soon. In essence, Tesla stands at a fascinating juncture. It is a company grappling with the realities of declining vehicle sales and the complexities of delivering on audacious autonomous driving promises, yet simultaneously demonstrating a commitment to enhancing the day-to-day experience of its existing user base. The coming quarters will be critical in determining whether the market's faith in Tesla's futuristic endeavors can sustain it through present-day headwinds, and how quickly its cutting-edge technologies can mature from supervised tests to truly autonomous widespread deployment. The balance between visionary ambition and practical execution will ultimately define Tesla's trajectory in the evolving landscape of automotive technology. The dynamic landscape of the global space industry is currently characterized by a compelling blend of groundbreaking innovation, ambitious competitive strategies, and the inevitable challenges that accompany pioneering technological frontiers. Recent developments spanning from dramatic test anomalies to strategic corporate pivots and governmental oversight underscore the high stakes and rapid evolution defining humanity's reach for the stars. SpaceX, a dominant force in the commercial space sector, has recently experienced both the triumphs and tribulations inherent in its aggressive development cycles. Just last month, on June 18, 2025, a routine static fire test of the company's Starship 36 rocket at its Starbase facility in Cameron County, Texas, culminated in a spectacular major anomaly. The incident, which saw the rocket's nose cone burst apart and send flames skyward around 11 p.m., startled nearby residents and caused windows to shake, prompting a confirmation from the Cameron County Sheriff's Office. While SpaceX assured the public that all safety protocols were observed, the testing zone was secure and no personnel were harmed, this fiery setback adds to a growing list of such events for the ambitious Starship program. The incident highlights the inherent risks of rapid iterative development in rocketry, underscoring the delicate balance between pushing boundaries and ensuring public safety, particularly for local communities living with the immediate consequences of these tests. Further compounding recent challenges for the aerospace giant, a report from Reuters on July 4, 2025, indicated that the U.S. Air Force has reportedly suspended a SpaceX rocket project on a Pacific atoll. While specific reasons for the suspension were not detailed, such decisions often stem from environmental assessments, logistical hurdles, or a re-evaluation of strategic priorities, potentially signaling increased scrutiny on large-scale space infrastructure projects. Despite these recent hurdles, SpaceX continues its relentless operational cadence. Earlier in the year, on January 24, 2025, a Falcon 9 rocket successfully launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California as part of a Starlink mission. The pre-dawn launch, captured impressively by Shell Beach resident Eric Olson, delivered 23 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit, marking the fourth launch from Vandenberg in 2025 and the 23rd flight supporting this particular mission. This consistent deployment capability underscores SpaceX's established prowess in delivering operational payloads, even as its more experimental Starship program navigates its developmental challenges. Meanwhile, the competitive pressure on established players like SpaceX is intensifying, with emerging contenders vying for a slice of the lucrative launch market. Orbex, a UK-based space company, is positioning itself to challenge SpaceX on price, particularly with the introduction of its planned medium-lift Proxima rocket. Speaking to the UK Engagement with Space Committee on June 23, Orbex CEO Phil Chambers articulated this ambition, stating, "If we can get a working medium-lift vehicle that is scalable, which is what our European Launcher Challenge bid is all about, we will be able to compete on price with SpaceX." The committee, established by the House of Lords in February 2025, is actively assessing the UK's space capabilities and seeking policy recommendations to bolster national engagement in the sector. Orbex's strategy involves a significant pivot announced in December 2024 to prioritize the development of Proxima, a larger vehicle, over its smaller prime rocket and the Sutherland launch facility. This strategic shift is primarily motivated by the company's aim to secure a contract under the European Space Agency's European Launcher Challenge (ELC), which Chambers believes would positively affect the business moving forward. However, Orbex faces a challenging investment climate and a critical need for anchor customers. Chambers openly criticized the UK Ministry of Defence for its reluctance to act as a domestic launch firm's anchor customer, pointing to the French Ministry of Defence's support for its own national launch capabilities as a strong example. Without substantial institutional backing from the UK government and a successful ELC bid, Orbex's ambitious plans to compete with industry giants like SpaceX could face significant headwinds, potentially causing it to fall further behind its European competitors in France and Germany. The confluence of these events, SpaceX's iterative development challenges and operational successes alongside the strategic maneuvers of smaller players like Orbex seeking to carve out their niche, paints a vivid picture of a space industry in constant flux. As technology continues to advance and competition intensifies, the coming years will undoubtedly witness further dramatic launches, innovative solutions, and fierce battles for market share, ultimately shaping humanity's access to and utilization of space for decades to come. In an era where the lines between celebrity technology and politics are increasingly blurred, a recent series of events has vividly underscored the volatile nature of public perception and the profound impact of online interactions. From a pop star's seemingly innocuous tweet sparking fan revolt to a tech mogul's intensified political maneuvering, the digital landscape continues to serve as a high-stakes arena for public figures. The saga began to unfold in December 2024 when pop sensation Nick Jonas found himself at the center of an unexpected controversy. What started as a celebratory tweet from Tesla's CEO Elon Musk regarding a significant surge in Tesla's profits following the 2024 US presidential election quickly drew Jonas into the fray. Musk, reveling in a report from Tesla owners in Silicon Valley that cited a 100% increase in Tesla's value since President-elect Donald Trump's victory, posted a Jonas Brothers GIF with the caption, "My, how the tables have turned." In a move that many fans deemed an endorsement, Nick Jonas quoted Musk's tweet, adding a picture of the billionaire with the caption, "Take us to the year 3000, a playful nod to his band's popular song. While perhaps intended as a light-hearted jest, the reaction from Jonas's fanbase was swift and overwhelmingly negative. The perceived alignment with Musk, especially given the politically charged context of the original tweet and Jonas's prior noticeable quiet during the entire election cycle, ignited a firestorm. Social media erupted with condemnations, with many fans threatening to withdraw support ahead of the Jonas Brothers' highly anticipated 20th anniversary tour. "I've been a fan since 2005 and was really looking forward to a 20-year anniversary tour, but I just cannot give my support to this," one disgruntled fan expressed, a sentiment echoed by others who declared, "Yeah, I'll keep my money next tour around, thanks." The backlash highlighted a growing expectation among fan bases for celebrities to align with certain socio-political values or at least remain neutral, particularly when it comes to figures as polarizing as Elon Musk. Comments like "rich people standing rich people" and sarcastic calls for Jonas's replacement underscored the depth of public frustration, with many urging the singer to delete the post. This wasn't the first time the band faced fan ire. Earlier in 2024, the Jonas Brothers drew criticism for rescheduling the European leg of their tour with a vague explanation of scheduling conflicts, leaving fans with non-refundable travel expenses and a sense of betrayal. The December 2024 tweet compounded this existing discontent, demonstrating how quickly public sentiment can turn when perceived missteps accumulate. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, seemingly unfazed by such celebrity-adjacent controversies, has continued to amplify his own political voice, culminating in a significant announcement on U.S. Independence Day, July 4, 2025. Leveraging his platform on X, formerly Twitter, Musk proposed the formation of a new political entity, the America Party, openly questioning the efficacy of the established two-party system. Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from the two-party, some would say uni-party system. Should we create the America Party? He tweeted, accompanied by a poll. This idea had been previously floated by Musk in early July 2025, spurred by his strong criticism of the One Big Beautiful Bill, a spending bill narrowly passed by House Republicans. He lambasted the bill as utterly insane and destructive, predicting it would destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm. Musk's proposed strategy for his America Party is notably pragmatic. One way to execute on this would be to laser focus on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Given the razor-thin legislative margins, that would be enough to serve as the deciding vote on contentious laws, ensuring that they serve the true will of the people. This approach suggests a desire not necessarily to become a dominant third party but rather to act as a powerful swing vote capable of shaping legislation. His repeated assertion that the U.S. currently functions as a one-party system dominated by financial self-interest underpins his drive for this new political venture. The confluence of his business interests, as evidenced by Tesla's post-election profits and his increasingly direct political engagement, paints a picture of a tech titan determined to exert influence far beyond his corporate empire. The incidents surrounding both Nick Jonas and Elon Musk highlight the expanding and often unpredictable intersection of entertainment technology and political discourse in the digital age. For celebrities, perceived political alignments, however subtle or unintended, can swiftly erode long-standing fan loyalty, particularly when juxtaposed against prior public silence or perceived corporate greed. For figures like Musk, their immense platforms allow them to directly challenge established political norms and mobilize public opinion, albeit with uncertain outcomes given the historical challenges faced by third parties in American politics. As social media continues to serve as the primary conduit for public interaction and opinion formation, the ramifications of these digital actions will undoubtedly continue to shape both pop culture and the political landscape, demanding increased scrutiny and accountability from those in the public eye. The frontier of neurotechnology is buzzing with unprecedented activity as ambitious startups backed by tech titans push the boundaries of what's possible for the human brain. Recent developments from industry leader Neuralink, coupled with the emergence of innovative non-invasive alternatives, underscore a pivotal moment in the quest to enhance cognitive function, treat neurological disorders, and even restore sensory capabilities. At the forefront, Elon Musk's Neuralink has just announced a significant financial milestone, closing a robust $650 million Series E funding round. This substantial capital injection, featuring prominent investors such as ARK Invest founders fund Sequoia Capital and Thrive Capital, builds upon their previous $280 million Series D round from 2023, which later saw an additional $43 million tranche. The fresh funding is poised to accelerate Neuralink's progress, particularly as the company claims to have conducted an increasing number of human clinical trials for its brainchip technology. In a bold assertion that has ignited both excitement and controversy, Elon Musk recently claimed that Neuralink's brainchip could enable individuals with complete hearing loss to hear again. While such a prospect holds immense promise for many, these comments have drawn sharp criticism from the deaf community. Many deaf individuals and advocates emphasize that deafness is not merely a medical condition to be fixed, but often a fundamental aspect of identity and culture, with vibrant communities and established communication methods like sign language. This highlights a crucial ethical dimension in neurotechnology: the balance between therapeutic advancement and respecting neurodiversity. Parallel to Neuralink's invasive implantable approach, a stealthy but equally compelling player has emerged: Sanmai Technologies. This neurotechnology startup recently secured $12 million in a Series A round led by LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, who will also join its board of directors. Sanmai's innovation lies in its non-invasive AI-guided focused ultrasound headset designed to treat mental health disorders and improve cognitive function without the need for surgery or drugs. The company aims to make clinic-grade brain stimulation accessible at home, with a projected price point of under $500. Sanmai's device utilizes low-intensity transcranial-focused ultrasound to precisely target specific brain regions associated with conditions like anxiety, depression, pain, epilepsy, and tremors. According to neurotechnology research scientist Sharina Rice, an early employee at Sanmai, an integrated AI companion guides treatment protocols, dynamically adjusting ultrasound parameters to maximize efficacy and safety based on each user's skull structure and brain activity. This fusion of AI with focused ultrasound allows for precise deep brain stimulation without invasive procedures. Founder Jay Sanguinetti, inspired by witnessing the life-changing effects of invasive brain stimulation on Parkinson's patients, sought to develop a safer, scalable alternative. After a decade of academic research, Sanmai has developed an early clinical prototype for generalized anxiety disorder and is in discussions with the Food and Drug Administration (FDA) to prepare for formal clinical trials and regulatory review. With the long-term goal of leveraging clinical data for broader consumer availability. The significant private investments in both Neuralink and Sanmai reflect a broader trend where private capital is increasingly vital for neuroscience innovation. This surge in private funding comes at a critical juncture as federal research support for biomedical sciences in the U.S. has reportedly seen reductions, including proposed cuts to the National Institutes of Health and staff departures from its neurological division. In this tightening environment, billionaire investors like Reid Hoffman, who previously backed OpenAI, are stepping in to advance next-generation brain technologies. Hoffman himself noted the appeal of Sanmai's approach, stating to Bloomberg, "Non-invasive is a much less risky approach for a significant benefit. The risk and difficulties in invasive strike me as very difficult to navigate and will take years, decades maybe." This sentiment underscores a growing divergence in the industry, with some players prioritizing the potential of non-invasive solutions over the inherent complexities and risks of surgical implants. As these companies forge ahead, the landscape of neurotechnology is set for transformative changes. The coming years will undoubtedly see an accelerating pace of clinical trials, regulatory evaluations, and technological refinements. The ongoing dialogue surrounding the ethical implications of brain interfaces, particularly regarding human augmentation versus therapeutic intervention, will also continue to evolve. Whether through surgical implants or non-invasive headsets, the race to unlock the brain's full potential and address its myriad challenges is intensifying, promising a future where our understanding and interaction with the human mind could be profoundly reshaped.